an open tile set the entire time. This build, and I tested like a Oberon build. I tested, you know the drill. Thank you for clicking on the video. I appreciate it. If you want more of this kind of stuff, hit the like button and also comment. It helps the algorithm really a lot and pushes it. But if you want more, of course, subscribe. We just hit 4,000 subs. And then I made this post. I regret this post, but I appreciate a lot of the support that you guys have been showing me recently. It's really cool, honestly. Yeah, I've been having a really good time with Warframe again. I was really close to being burnt out permanently, so it's good to be back. That being said, I will be live at 7 p.m. today, 2 hours after this video goes live. So if you are looking to ask any questions about this build, I'll be playing this one on stream a bunch if I can help it. I mean, we're going to be doing the daily stuff or the weekly stuff, so whatever, it's there. But I'll be trying to play this. If you actually watch through this, what's your favorite nuke frame in the game? I want to hear what you guys think is either both your best or your favorite in the comments. Anyways, enjoy the video. Hey yo, how you doing? Welcome back. Today we're going to talk about a weird one. This is a build that I saw, such a long time ago, and it recently got a pretty big buff in Arcane Sculptor. So I wanted to mention it again, but this is one of the fastest nukes I've ever seen in my entire life, and not kill wise, but like movement speed wise. So for like low level Fisher missions and stuff, it'll be pretty close, a little bit slower than Titania Thermal Cinder, but obviously, but it actually surprisingly keeps up and has a little bit of more of a skill barrier rather than just spamming Thermal Cinder. So what is this build? So one thing I learned is that Prism triggers Arcane Sculptor. Well, that doesn't really matter typically because you're gonna end up throwing the Prism and then it's gonna like travel really slowly and then explode off in the distance, or like do damage on the way and make you drain energy. Like it's gonna do some interesting things, but not really anything cool. However, Prism has an augment called Prism Guard, which allows the Prism to follow you. Well, when you trigger this, it will follow you and it will just like hover over your shoulder right where your companion is. It will also trigger Arcane Sculptor, so you can see where this is going. This build in the past, I used to run 130% efficiency on, and it was pretty low strength, and like it was decent, and I would still find myself running out of energy every now and then, but that doesn't happen. I didn't even have a max ranked Sculptor, and it doesn't let that happen. I'm just going to show this with Corrupted Heavy Gunners, because I always do, simply because they have 90% damage reduction. They have a decent amount of health. They're not the tankiest enemy in the game. They're vulnerable and resistant to, or they're vulnerable to puncture and viral, and then resistant to radiation. If you didn't know you could do this, by the way, just your Samaris thing, if you have them fully scanned, you can see what they're vulnerable to. It's actually really helpful sometimes. But the gist of this build is to press your 4, then put all of these up, turn on Infested Mobility. You can turn off your 4, turn it back on so it's got low efficiency, and then you just fucking run near enemies, and I jumped right off the map. Okay, hold on, let me try that one more time. I'm so good at this game, man. All right, so you turn on your 4, you press your 3 and your 1, and then your Infested Mobility. You can turn off your 4 because then you can recast it with less efficiency or more efficiency, and then you just run through these enemies like crazy, and over time they will just fall over dead. And the ease of use is really good, honestly. If I'm honest, it's not like the most insane nuke build I've ever played in my entire life. But there's some interesting stuff going on here, so let me explain a couple of mechanics that cause this to be like a really fun build. So let me show the build. The build is this. So this is what I've got. This build changed. Pretty heavily recently. I found a couple of things here. So this used to be molt efficiency because we wanted more duration so that we could make Prism last longer so we wouldn't have to cast it as often. We actually want to cast it once at least every 12 seconds because that's how long Arcane Sculptor is up. So that means we actually wanted to drop duration. So we dropped this. I used to run Narrow-Minded with significantly more range in here, but I dropped that and ended up swapping in Augur Message and Primed Continuity with Arcane Concentration. So we actually have a decent amount of duration, but it's just enough for Prism to like be upkept. Then we're running Strength, Blind Rage, Precision Intensify. We're also going to be wanting to like Sling Strength and get other sources of strength if you can help it, of course, but if not, it doesn't really matter. I didn't do that in this test. So then we're running Corrosive Projection because an Armor Strip is really fucking important on this because it does radiation damage. So technically this actually does less damage to those enemies that we just killed, which is really funny. And then honestly, I was running Overextended at one point. I'm now running Stretch, but the range is still 43 meters. So this 43 33 or 36. I can't remember which one is the correct one, but they're still like, that's still more than most builds. So, and then we're running Equilibrium. I tried dropping Equilibrium. It's just barely not enough. I think you could replace it with one Equilibrium shard if you wanted to, but I have 2 strength shards instead. Yeah, I would replace it with Augur Secrets, and like I would break other builds doing that, so I'm not going to. I'm just going to run the full Equilibrium. It's barely not enough energy to not run Equilibrium. So I think maybe a max ranked Arcane Sculptor will do it, but I don't, whatever. Then I'm running Preparation. The reason why is because when we first spawn in the mission, Preparation is really nice to have because you do need to cast 3 or 4 abilities right off the start to get started with this build. So I'm running Preparation. You can really, if you want to drop an energy pad every time you start, feel free, you're more than welcome to. If you don't want to do that, Preparation's great. I am running 3 casting speed shards and 2 strength shards as well. I feel like the casting speed is really important considering how often you want to be recasting Prism, just because of the low duration. The whole gist of this build was actually originally a Fisher build for non-steel path, but let me talk about a couple of the mechanics here. So Prism actually has a really unique mechanic to it. This deals more damage the faster you move, but it's not quite that. It fires off 20 lasers. When it's traveling through the air, it will spin these lasers and they will start doing ticking damage. But whenever a laser touches an enemy, it will deal a tick of damage. Now these do damage, I believe it's on a 0.5 tick damage rate. The faster you are moving, the faster these lasers are moving, the faster they swap targets. Well, if you're swapping targets really quick, let's show it really quick just by pressing it here. So I'll press it here and then just stand here. You'll see these damage numbers are happening at, yeah, it looks like a 0.5, right? But if I press this one more time and then dash, you'll notice that they're getting hit like 5 times as much. And again, this goes even faster the faster you move. So if you have like Infested Mobility equipped, you're going to be doing even more damage, and that's without fucking Eclipse on. Our damage is actually getting doubled via Eclipse, because Eclipse now does that. With the Solar Eclipse buff active, Prism deals double damage. With the Lunar Eclipse buff active, Prism's casting cost is halved. We always want the double damage. This is a faction modifier, so whatever your base damage is, you'll just double the damage that. Or not a faction modifier, but you know what I mean. It's like a multiplicative scaling on whatever else you have. So the more strength you have, the more it gets doubled by Eclipse. So Eclipse is the biggest damage. Hall of Mirrors we're just using for survivability here. You can't get more Prisms, unfortunately. It would be really strong. As much as I would love for them to throw more Prisms, it only throws 1. It's such a cool nuke, in my opinion. This is such an old nuke too, but it just got so much stronger with this update. It's actually kind of impressive. But yeah, once you like get into the idea of like dashing and stuff with it, it's really nice. I'm running Shade. I kind of fucking hate it. Because of how much movement you want to do, slamming to like cancel the movement stuff so that you can like move from one place to the next is really nice. Well, that means that you break your Shade invis constantly. So I'm gonna run Shade, but you do you, boo. Like you don't really need it. You can always do Vazarin for survivability if you want. It's not really meant to be like a level cap build or anything to really high level stuff. You can try it at level cap, I guess, but like, why would you try that? Just play like a normal Mirage build. Quick little addition here to this little shenanigans build. You can do 2 special things. One, Scourge actually causes the laser beams to headshot, which is, it's a pretty good damage multiplier, and you can just throw it down whenever you feel like it. And the other one I'm going to show because it's really important, but if I throw the Scourge down here, these will all get their buff, and then I throw my operator thing and get the bubble trapped inside of the Zada's bubble, it will throw the Prism around inside of the Zada's bubble. These enemies don't even have enough health to show it, but yeah, you can get, I say Zada's, the Void bubble. So if you trigger Void, so this Void bubble here, and then throw your Prism into it, you'll see that the Prism gets caught within the bubble. So you can get some like really silly stuff with that, especially with the Scourge combination. But yeah, you'll get extra like damage this way. If you want to take it to level cap that way, the damage ramps up really hard with Void, and you can just trigger it through your operator. There are a couple of missions I want to show. So we'll do this Steel Path Exterminate just so that you can see what it's like in just a Fisher mission. Now this is Corpus, so these enemies should kind of fall over. And also this is one of the largest open tile sets in the entire game, and we straight up didn't get an open tile set the entire time. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Look at that. Sometimes, because again, corrupted enemies take half damage from radiation damage, and the 4 is radiation damage. Man, sometimes I'm really tired of nullifiers. Anybody else randomly just get, like, actually super annoyed by the fact that sometimes maps are like, oh, hey, here's 400 nullifiers, and then you just aren't able to play the game with the frame that you want to play? Me too, man. Me too. I got nullified flying through that room. But yeah, so this is like, you can see the red dots just like disappearing. The enemies that don't die are either armored or currently getting corrupted, or in a nullifier bubble, which apparently seems to be extremely copious on this tile set, which is, you know, it's a good test anyway. I have been nullified, I want to say 12 times in this map, which I guess is a good thing to show anyways. But yeah, so that was Steel Path, and we did a full Fisher by ourselves in 1:38. So not super slow. We did get slowed by the nullifiers, but like it's surprisingly strong. And you know what's the craziest thing about all this? Now, this is because it's fresh in my mind. We actually kill faster with this build than with Sirius and Orion, and that's a new frame. Like I tested this build, and I tested like a Oberon build, and I tested a bunch of other builds, and they all were like far ahead of where Sirius and Orion were sitting with like kills and like kill per minute and stuff like that. It's really disappointing. I'm trying, like, I try my best to be positive about frames and stuff, but having quite literally built every single frame, full omni'd all of the frames, built them all to be capable enough to be able to use, because I mean within 10 omnis I was able to put a build together that I liked, and most of my frames, if they're not capable of it, I'll just turn into gun frames, because like I also like shooting guns. It's become very apparent that Sirius and Orion scared them because they made their 4 too large. Well, their 4's radius, explosion radius, it's the largest explosion in the entire game when it comes to abilities. Well, that said, they were obviously scared of it being too strong of a nuke, so they gave it line of sight and also lowered its damage. Now, yes, unmodded, you can hit 1,000,000 with that ability. We're not talking about unmodded here. 70% of the player base does not play Steel Path. That is something that everybody needs to keep in mind when we're talking about builds and stuff. So this is why I was like, oh yeah, they're fine, because realistically in 90% of content they're gonna be fine. They're gonna clear everything, no problems. Like they really genuinely won't have issues pretty much anywhere. Even in ETA, like I showed them not killing stuff, but like even then my build was able to kill things pretty hands down in there if I just used a couple rotations of their abilities. But again, that's not my point. My point is that you have to use a couple rotations of their abilities, whereas a frame like this is pressing 4 and then jumping around like a crackhead. And don't you worry, I have an Ember build coming out soon that is probably going to outkill them too. And I am really sad. And that's Ember. And people are like down bad about Ember. It's not good. So, but before you judge, make sure that you actually watch the video for the Ember build when it comes out. That is imperative that you understand that it's not all doom and gloom for Ember. Like, she's not as bad as you think, especially with the new stuff that came out and the new tech with Sculptor. Whereas with Sirius and Orion, they just came out. Mr. Citrus and Onion are kind of, I'm gonna be down bad about them because typically a frame comes out and they get like absolutely, they just blast. I don't know, they're just really good. But you can see like I'm at almost 600 kills, just fucking pressing my 4, bouncing around. I'm actually having a blast because I'm able to just yap and press my 4 whenever it comes off cooldown. Like I'm not even distracted at all by the fact that I'm talking constantly right now. I don't know, it's a good time. I like this build. It's fun. So yeah, like these are the builds that we're comparing Sirius and Orion to, and the amount of work that Sirius and Orion have put into them, which I don't hate, by the way. I love when my builds take a lot of work to do. Fucking, I am a strength slut on like Wisp, where I will do everything possible just to get a little bit of strength and then put down a Giga Wisp moat, and that's fun to me. So like I get it. I get putting a ton of effort into a build and stuff and into a frame and getting them to work properly. Like, that stuff is cool to me. If you put a ton of effort in and then after 8 abilities and 7 hits of that ability, the target that you're hitting doesn't fucking die, I'm mad. For reference, my Sirius and Orion build gets over 800% strength, and I've swapped to Roar. So on top of that, all of that stuff going on together, and it's still unable to kill stuff as well as something like this build, where I just fucking press it and go, is, what? What? Like, what? What do you, huh? Like, I would understand if they were built as, like, a support frame, and, like, the nuke is just an additional thing that you're, like, trying to make work, and then you can always fall back on being a support frame, but they're not a support frame. Like, their 3 is, Sirius's 3 is, like, a low damage reduction, small area effect, well, okay, not small, but smaller because it doesn't follow you, so you don't always get it. It's got a smaller regen than just something like the regen from Hellman, and it's got a revive, so that's cool. Jade Stars does less damage than Ember Fireball, which is an ability we don't ever want to cast ever. Event Horizon has like 0 damage and has a small radius. Astral Shell is great. Both of their ones do so little damage. I swear to God, I could stand there and hit fully unarmored enemies for like 5 minutes and not kill enemies with those ones. And then their 4 isn't enough damage. Like, this is where they're sitting. Anyways, I got so off topic when I was talking about this because they've been on my mind. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this Mirage build. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.